Hi, I'm Bill Schiller. I'm the principal and head of school at the Arch Community School. I'm excited to tell you that we have started school this year for the 17-18 school year. It's our first year, and it's been a really exhilarating start. We know we would not have been able to make this start without the support of so many people who value good education here in the north side of St. Louis for our students and for our communities. We're lucky to have 60 kindergarten through third graders here at our school this year. Of those 60 kids, a lot of them come with some significant challenges. We are doing our very best with your support to try to meet those needs. We're excited about working with these kids, but they come with some real hurdles that we have to get over to help them access their education and be the very best students they can be.
Bear, C the car, D the dog, F fish, G the gate, X the horse, J the jug, K the kite.
Well, I have a student in my class this year who's never been to formal school before. He's in first grade, and there was just so much for him to learn at the beginning of the year, how to work with his friends, how to do any of the directions, and it was extremely overwhelming for him. So he became frustrated often. And when he would become frustrated, he would sometimes cry or lose complete control. And other students were laughing at him, and it was really escalating the situation because it was just more upsetting to him. So one day, as this child began to get work done and things were challenging and he was starting to really escalate, his friends were watching for that typical explosion. And he started to do some of the things that we've talked about doing, like taking a deep breath or saying to himself, "This is hard, but I'm going to try again." And he ended up persevering and accomplishing the task. And all of his class stood back and said, like, "Yay, you did it!" And it was just so awesome to not only see his success, but to see what it meant to him to have all of his classmates cheering him on.
All right, go back to your seat. Who's ready? Oh, I love how Kalia's by her chair. All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We're lucky to have a strong, experienced staff. We have 3 people who have over 30 years of experience, 2 more that have 10 plus years of experience. Almost everybody except for 1 person on our staff has had some educational experience.
So we have about 5 third graders reading at kindergarten level. And I gave them an activity one day where they had mixed up words and the letters were in different order, and they had to cut the letters out, paste them on in the correct order, and read them to me. Not one of them called it baby work, even though it really was very beginning work. Not one of them called it baby work. They were engaged the whole time. I think that they would really like to learn. Learning has been difficult for various reasons, whether it behaviorally or academically. They have something impeding them being able to learn. But I think for the most part, they do want to learn.
One day, I decided I should probably just go talk to the third grade class and figure out what were their schools like before the Arch Community School. And so I talked to them about that. What was school like? And they said, well, there was a group of kids who seemed to get in trouble, pushing, shoving, fighting inside the classroom so that the teacher had to be busy taking care of that. There were other kids that kind of hunkered down in the classroom, coloring or drawing or just kind of passing time and staying out of the fray, but not really accessing learning. Nobody talked about learning. Nobody talked about projects they did. Nobody talked about things that they really liked about what they had learned at school at all. And it made me realize that we were going to have to recreate a culture of this is how schools work and this is what you do to become the best learner you can be. Don't be afraid of hard work. Do be ready to access that and ask any question you need to, because teachers, teaching assistants, they'll be there to help them. I can see that starting to develop, but we do have to break some old habits as we're doing it along the way. So we're making one step at a time, good progress. With these kids and their high needs, we've had to hire 3 additional people. One is a teaching assistant that's been helping with kids to make sure they stay on task and are learning at the best rate that they can. Another is a school psychologist that helps us doing with assessing so that we know that we're programming correctly for our students. And we also have the chance through our partnership with UMSL to get a part-time social worker that will hopefully do a great job in working with those students with some counseling and some group therapy work.
Q-Qua Queen, R Rocket, S Sun, T Turkey, Viva Best, W Watermelon, X Telephone, Y Yard, Z Zipper.
Good job.
For our first science experiment, we were doing an experiment if they were stranded on a desert island, and they had to find a way to protect themselves from the sun and from the elements. And of course, when you're stranded on a desert island, you don't always get the things you need to protect yourself. So they had certain items. They had a little sheet of aluminum foil and a paper towel. They had rubber bands, and they had a clothes clip, and they had to come up with a way to design a hat. And we talked about all of those materials and what would be absorbent and maybe what would hold the heat. And we talked about if we were making a hat, where we'd want to place those materials. And when we first started, they were really hesitant. They wanted me to come by and help them. They were really frustrated. I wouldn't let them use any glue or tape or staples. I tried to explain we weren't stranded on the island with those things. They met with some frustration at first, but with a little encouragement, they really took off. And not only did they come up with some creative hats to protect themselves from the element, some had quite a bit of fashion in there too. This would be an example of project-based teaching. My kids don't learn as well just opening up a book and reading from the chapter. They need to do something more hands-on and with encouragement. They don't learn in the same way as some of the students that I've had in the past. It doesn't mean they can't get there, but we need to find some different approaches.
Well, every morning, second grade does math problems every morning. And it's simple math, 5 plus 5, 6 plus 8, 9 plus 6. And it's the same kiddo that just doesn't want to do it. I'm just trying to figure out why he's like popcorn all over the classroom. And I sat him down, I said, hey, do you know what 5 plus 5 is? No. What do you use to answer the question? My fingers. I said, okay, well, tell me what 5 plus 5 is. And he could not do it. So I asked him what a number line was. Didn't know it, and I drew him up one, pasted it on his desk. And I said, this is how you do it. 5 plus 5, and I just showed him how to do it. Go to 5. He pointed to 5. Add 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's the answer? Where's your finger? It's on 10. I said, there you go. That's a number line. That's how you add 5 plus 5 using a number line. Now I'm going to come back and check on you. 3 more problems. And I went and checked on them. All of them were right, just from a number line.
For Arch, I was actually nervous to enroll my daughter because I didn't know so much about it. However, I took the initiative and talked to a few family members who actually was like, well, we're right across the street and just give it a try. I'm actually glad I did because my daughter learned how to play chess, something I would have never done. And she's reading above grade level, which is awesome in my book. And she's actually working a lot harder on her math because we had problems with it a couple of years ago. And she was actually doing math now, I would say she hadn't done before. So she's actually doing the math that she's supposed to do, considering the fact that she was at another school and didn't do that math. So I'm actually proud of that too, and she's made great improvement with that. So I'm proud of my daughter, extremely proud.
My son knows how to write his name in 2 weeks. He knows his months, his days, his colors. He even learned how to spell words now. The teachers are nice. They work with you and they work together with you. Mr. Schiller's nice. He work with you. He get on your level. He call you and let you know anything's going on.
Who helped you to become the person you are today? Some of us had great parents. Some of us had great teachers and mentors that helped us along the way. The children here at the Arch Community School, they need us. They need us to make them and help them become capable, confident citizens. We have a great relationship with the Bethlehem After School crew. They are here every day, and they are ready to take over after we've had our day with the kids. But for some of our kids, 90% of them, they get here sometimes as early as 7 o'clock, sometimes even earlier. They're here till 5:30. That's 10 and a half hours of time here at school. And so we are putting them in good hands through our time with the Arch Community School and with Bethlehem After School program. The kids are in great hands and are safe and learning the best they can. This is the moment for their lives to change through teachers and a community that wants to help them to learn. It's the moment right now to help students realize that there's something different than the pain and violence that many of them experience on a daily basis. And this is the moment to help them develop their own pathway to a better life, a vision that they develop themselves as this is where I want to go. I can choose to make my life better.